eyes. They fed on plants. This discovery is of great significance. Rivers often hide some unknown secrets beneath their surface. It is only when the water level drops or the riverbed dries up that people can discover them. From the Nazi military of the Second World War, to dinosaur footprints from 100 million years ago, and to the Spanish Stonehenge from 7,000 years ago. In this episode, Mingxin will bring you 12 mysterious underwater discoveries. And these discoveries are probably the first time you've heard of them. If you're a new viewer, welcome to my channel. Remember to turn on the notification bell, so you can be the first to watch more exciting content. Alright. Let's begin our story now. 12th place. An ancient city from 3,400 years ago. People discovered a relic underwater in Iraq's Mosul Dam. At first, they thought it was just a cemetery or a temple. Later, archaeologists conducted a simple investigation of the site, but because the water was too deep, they couldn't carry out further research. In 2018, a team of archaeologists from Germany and Iraq began the first excavation. They speculated that the site might be the ancient city of Zakiku from the Mitanni Empire, with a history of at least 3,400 years. Through this excavation, they roughly understood the structure of the site. They discovered many cuneiform tablets. However, at that time, the site was still submerged in the reservoir. Therefore, the excavation work did not go very smoothly. It was soon halted. Time moved to January 2022. Due to a prolonged drought in Iraq, the authorities decided to drain the reservoir. This would allow them to irrigate the surrounding farmland. On the other hand, it can continue the previous archaeological research. And this time, there was also a major discovery. They found that the site was very large. It included a palace and many large rooms. During the excavation process, they also discovered exquisite murals remaining on the walls of the structures, and many other valuable artifacts, similar to pottery, bronze vessels, jewelry and seals, etc. Number 11. Stone. Stone artifacts can be found in certain rivers in Europe. They have existed since around the 15th century. They are mainly distributed in the Central European region, for example, Czech Republic, Germany and Austria. The history of these stones can be traced back centuries. The name of the stones comes from their background under special conditions. Severe drought and desolation. When the water level is extremely low, these stones, which are usually submerged, will emerge above the water. When this phenomenon occurs, this signals the arrival of extreme weather. It could lead to crop failure, and eventually cause famine. The inscriptions on the stones record real events that happened in the past, to serve as documentation or warnings. For example, one stone reads, "En du Michigan seas, and we in," means that, if you see me, just cry, implying to others that when you see this line of text, it means a severe drought is coming. Historically, these stones have appeared multiple times. For example, during the European droughts in 2003 and 2018, the stones surfaced. They became the focus of news reports at that time. 10th place. Longyu Caves. It is a famous man-made cave complex. It was discovered by locals in 1992. At the beginning, the caves were submerged underwater, with only a very unremarkable entrance visible. The local villagers always thought it was just a pond, but their discovery showed that the water in the pond had no use, and it never dried up. Some villagers even caught many fish in the pond. A strong sense of curiosity made them want to figure out what was going on. So they used a 41 water pump to pump the pond dry. But what they didn't expect was that the pond seemed like a bottomless pit. They couldn't even see any signs of drying up. It took until the 17th day to barely finish pumping out the water. Until this moment, the villagers had only just realized that this was actually a massive cave complex. The Longyu Caves are known to contain 24 caves, each featuring different Buddhist sculptures and murals that are extremely exquisite. The history of the Longyu Caves can be traced back over 1,600 years. It was roughly built during the Southern and Northern dynasties. Later, throughout the Tang, Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qin dynasties, it was continuously renovated and expanded to form the scale we see today. However, there is some controversy surrounding the Longyu grottos. Some believe it was actually just a quarry in ancient times, Before its discovery, there were no sculptures or inscriptions inside. These were all added recently. It's just to enhance the introduction. Of course, this is just one perspective. It cannot represent the true history of Longyu grottos. 9th place, Shen's Nazi Army. In the summer of 2022, Europe experienced a severe drought, which led to a significant drop in the water level of the Danube River. The Danube is the second longest river in Europe, flowing through several countries, including Serbia. In the Prehovo region of that country, due to the drastic drop in water levels, during World War II, at least 23 Nazi German military wrecks have resurfaced. These ships were originally part of Nazi Germany's Black Sea Fleet. Some were used for military operations, while others were used to transport supplies. In 1944, due to unfavorable conditions, during the retreat, Nazi High Command ordered these ships to be deliberately scuttled. The purpose of doing this was to stop the pursuit of the Soviet army. These sunken ships not only witnessed the course of history, but also pose a significant safety hazard due to the large amount of unexploded ammunition on board. As the riverbed is exposed, the presence of these ships has impacted local shipping and fishing activities, and may even obstruct the normal passage of vessels. Number 8. Underwater shelter. The year 2021. Due to drought, the water level of the Euphrates River in Turkey dropped significantly. During this process, people unexpectedly discovered an underwater cave. The cave is called Hasankeyf Castle. Back in 1974, when a nearby dam began to store water, the cave is submerged underwater. The cave lies beneath a mountain by the Euphrates River. So if you want to go there, you have to rely on boats. Inside the cave, there's a room, connected by a narrow passage. You have to crouch to get in. Beside the passage, there are also round holes, for ventilation and cooling. The cave has a total of 3 levels. The lowest level, which is submerged in water, is also the entrance. Inside the cave, a large amount of Greek inscriptions were found, indicating that people once lived here. The archaeologists believe this should be a makeshift Christian church, established during the Roman period. Due to religious persecution, that's why they hid here. Number 7. A headless Buddha statue. 2019. Thailand experienced a severe drought. Many rivers and reservoirs dried up. During this process, in a dried-up reservoir in Lopburi province, central Thailand, the ruins of a temple, once submerged, reappeared, along with countless shells and dead fish. The temple is called Wat Nom Bua. It was abandoned 20 years ago when the local government built the dam. It was later submerged by the flood. Its reappearance attracted many people to visit. Among them were not only tourists from all over Thailand, but also former villagers and monks. Many of them had deep feelings for this temple complex. The most striking feature is a headless statue of Buddha. The statue is about 3 meters tall. Its appearance has caused quite a stir among many people. People presented flowers to the Buddha statues or knelt down to pay their respects. The same thing also happened in Chongqing. In 2022, the water level of the Yangtze River dropped due to drought. At the center, a small island suddenly appeared. On the island, there was a large rock. Inside the rock, there were 3 stone statues. The obvious one in the middle is a statue of a Buddha. It's a bit larger. Yue looks more like some kind of deity, similar to the god of wealth. Archaeologists believe these statues were carved during the Ming and Qing dynasties, which means they have at least 600 years of history. So why would it appear on the Yangtze River? There are various interpretations of this. Some believe that the Buddha statues protect passing ships and nearby residents from disasters. Others believe that Buddhism emphasizes going with the flow, and that their location here may symbolize compliance with the laws of nature. Ranked 6th, the Stonehenge from 7,000 years ago. In the summer of 2019, Spain and other parts of Europe experienced a severe drought. This drought caused a significant drop in water levels in many bodies of water, including the Valdecañas Reservoir in central Spain. And in this area, an ancient stone circle was discovered, known as the Dolmen of Guadalperal. The stone circle is very interesting. It is made up of various shapes. The outer area is surrounded by stones in a circular shape. The internal shapes consist of approximately 150 large stones. Archaeologists and historians believe that this stone circle is around 7,000 years old. So what exactly was it used for? The more mainstream analysis suggests It may be a cemetery, used to bury important figures of the time. It may also have been a place for some kind of religious ritual, for worshipping natural deities or ancestors. Alternatively, it might have served as some sort of trading center, or even been used for astronomical observations. This is related to the Guadalupe stone circle, which was actually discovered as early as 1926. A German archaeologist at the time, Hugo Obermeier, was the first to discover this strange site. The stone circle was half exposed above the water, but not fully visible. However, it didn't receive much attention back then. Later, in 1963, the Spanish authorities, in order to develop agriculture, built a large reservoir. The stone circle was completely submerged in water. Until the drought in 2019, it reappeared again. 5th place, automobile scene. In 2021, due to the water level drop caused by drought, the Hiram Reservoir in Texas, USA, a spectacular scene appeared. And it was deliberately placed here. So why would anyone do this? Many people might not believe it. The reason they did this was because they wanted to use these wrecked cars to reinforce the dam of the reservoir. At that time, many thought it was a good idea. It can control soil erosion and reinforce the riverbanks more effectively. Of course, according to today's environmental standards, this approach would definitely not be acceptable. It might even incur hefty fines. But back then, people handled problems this way. Simple and straightforward. 4th place, black. A man named Yu discovered a black creature on the coast. It looked slimy. Later, after confirmation, the creature was actually a black sea hare. The black sea hare is a very large marine animal. It's a marine species, called the sea hare. But actually, it has nothing to do with rabbits as we know them. It's a type of mollusk. This species is mainly found along the west coast of the US, particularly along the California coast. The body color of the black sea hare is usually black or dark brown, and its body is very soft. The surface sometimes has small protrusions. These seas can grow very large. Some can even reach about 1 meter in length. 3rd place, human stone carvings. In 2022, Brazil experienced a severe drought. This affected the Rio Negro in the Amazon region. The water level dropped by about 15 meters. This brought some unexpected discoveries to people. Some people found that certain stones underwater actually had strange figures carved on them. In some places, there were even animals carved. This discovery attracted a lot of interest from archaeologists. One of them, named Jamie Oliveira, believes that these carvings are at least 2,000 years old. These petroglyphs probably existed before the arrival of European colonizers. At that time, people often had conflicts. They would often sharpen weapons like bows and spears on stones, and these carvings were likely created during that period. So why would they carve so many people? Alala speculated that it might be related to ancient beliefs and traditions. Human or human-like carvings have special significance in many cultures, often associated with religion, mythology, or ancestor worship. So these human carvings might represent the ancestors of the people of that time. At the same time, in the places where these carvings were found, it also indirectly indicates to us that the water level of the Amazon River at that time may not have been as high as it is now. It can also provide some clues for studying ancient climate and environmental changes. 2nd place, a church with a history of 400 years. In 2023, Mexico experienced a severe drought. Many rivers dried up. But during this process, people unexpectedly discovered a church in the river. The church is located in a reservoir in Chiapas, Mexico. It is called the Quechula Church. According to historical records, the church was built around 1584. The builders of the church were a group of Dominican monks. They hoped that through this way, boosting the popularity of the surrounding area. But it wasn't long before a severe epidemic broke out in Mexico, especially the smallpox virus from 1773 to 1776, resulting in a significant decrease in the local population, and this church was slowly forgotten over time, eventually becoming a wasteland for a long period. Time arrived in 1966. The Mexican government planned to build a reservoir. Coincidentally, the Quechula Church happened to be within the planned reservoir area. No one knows what the government was thinking, but they actually approved the project, leaving the church submerged underwater for quite some time afterwards. In 2002 and 2015, the reservoir's water level decreased. the Church of Quirquira briefly resurfaced. Until 2023, it was fully exposed on the dried riverbed. Number 1. A dinosaur footprint from 100 million years ago. In 2022, Texas experienced a severe drought. Due to the lack of water, a river channel in Dinosaur Valley State Park has completely dried up. As the water receded, some very special marks appeared on the riverbed. After examination by archaeologists, they discovered these were dinosaur tracks. They date back to 113 million years ago. The tracks were mainly left by two types of dinosaurs. One of them was the Acrocanthosaurus. This is a large-bodied carnivorous dinosaur. The evidence suggests they had strong hind legs and massive claws. Another possibility is a type similar to lizard-like dinosaurs. These dinosaurs were large in size. They fed on plants. This discovery is of great significance for scientists and researchers. It provides valuable information about ancient life for the public. It's also a rare opportunity to directly experience the prehistoric world. Dinosaur Valley State Park has thus become a very attractive educational and tourist destination. Visitors can see these prehistoric giants' footprints up close. Alright, that's all for today's content I'd like to share with you. What do you think about these 12 underwater discoveries? Feel free to share your thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to turn on the bell. That way, you won't miss out on more interesting content. See you in the next episode.